Welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most viewed, underviewed podcast of all time. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air. This is your host, the most charismatic man in entertainment with a special guest. That's right. You wonder who he is. I'm going to introduce him. He's a man who has many accolades. He is a media personality, podcaster, actor who's
Woo.
been successful in transitioning into filmmaking and television production. He hosts Reem TV, which ended its final season in January of 2020, which has won multiple awards at film festivals and is very known within the hip hop and independent industry. He's also returned to podcasting with his much critically acclaimed Cuts, which stands for Culture, Urban Technology, and Sports. He's won multiple awards for that, which includes the Public Access Media Awards for Best Arts and Entertainment Show, which he's also previously won at the Hip Hop Film Festival for Audience Choice Awards in 2017. Now, I can go over his accolades all day, but let's introduce the man. Let's welcome Kareem Tyson. How you doing, man?
Yo, you already know how I go, man. It's Kareem Reemo Tyson. Nonetheless, man, appreciate even for you having me on here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna front, man. Yo, you mentioned my old baby, my first baby, Ring TV, man. Woo.
Yeah, I know.
Oh
Got
man.
to bring back the classics, you know.
Yeah, man. Yo, you know what's crazy? Like when I let it not let it go. I don't like saying let it go. Oh man, such a harsh word to say. Um at the time earlier last year, it's just I was doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was producing hip hop gaming show. Shout out to him. I was working with the podcast. You know, at the time, it wasn't Cuts at the time yet, but I was doing stuff for Floss Magazine at the time.
Right.
I was doing, oh my God, there was so much other things that I was doing that I was losing steam on my own baby. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, damn, yo, let it go. And then I kept doing things with Hip Hop Gamer and producing his show. It's a Hot 97 show. It's called We Got Game. You know what I'm saying? I was producing that, filming and producing. We was going crazy on the red carpets before COVID happened. We was no nonstop red carpet events and stuff like that and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
oh my God. When 2020 started, like, oh my God. And then COVID happened and I had to retrack. I had to go back and retrack.
That's amazing, man. Let's that was a great introduction to start off the podcast. So,
Yes.
let's start off from the beginning, man, because I know you was talking about your former baby that I introduced. So, uh,
Woo.
talk to me about how you got into all of these different mediums of art, and how has the journey been for you?
Oh my God! Wow, man, come on, dude. I mean,
I
you
know,
let me go
man.
there and talk. Make me take the DeLorean. You know what I'm saying?
You don't
Take
have
the
to go too
DeLorean
far,
back
but
to that time. Oh man! All right, so I started in 2006. Late bloomer. You know, during around that time, like '06. That was like the last of the Mohegans of okay, starting at like after 25 was like taboo or whatever, right?
right.
Then, I was at a house party at home, you know what I'm saying? Partying, chilling and all that.
Having a good old
And
time.
yeah, right. Enjoying myself, enjoying time and everything like that. And then like like a dude that looked like Lupe Fiasco, he comes and talks to me after I was talking with ladies. So him and I was like really networking and chopping up. So he mentions to me about central casting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, word? Like he's like, yo, bro, I just seen you be mad animated, you're charismatic, you're funny, sarcastic. Yo, bro, you need to go to central casting. That's what I do. I'm in mad commercials and TV and film. And I said, really? And during that time, I was at a high fashion women's store. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really liking what I was working at either. So, I was
Right.
like, yo, the hell with that. So he told me like the only thing was I had to pay like $25 to take a picture with them and have them and apply. Went, called out the next day. I said, yo, I'm not coming to work. Went downtown. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Central Casting is still on
It's around 40,
downtown,
yeah, somewhere
like
around Midtown.
31st and 6th,
Yeah, yeah, somewhere around there.
if I'm not
Seventh,
mistaken.
yeah.
So I know the Starbucks that's on the corner.
Right. Nah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly, right?
Yep.
So bust it, man. Went a couple weeks later, and I started out as a background actor, you know what I'm saying? I was on Law and Order, SVU. I was hyped.
Nice. A little side note about that. You know, where my school was, Urban Assembly by Columbia, I used to see Detective Stabler and Olivia Benson all the time because they
Oh
used
wow.
to film all the time around my school. So I used to
Yes,
see them
that's a
film
fact.
all the time. But yeah, I'm not gonna cut
Yeah,
you off.
that's
Yeah.
right. Nah, that's a segue. Nah, that's cool, man. This is podcasting. Nah, that was a segue. You know what I'm saying? But overall, man, like I was like hyped. I was hyped. I was hyped. I was like, oh shit. And I went on a crazy hot streak. So from like '06 to like maybe early 2010, I was in a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it would be one-liners, or even for that matter, background work, or even stuff that I would dance in, right? So
Right.
one of the main projects in my resume, I was in the choreography scene for Friends with Benefits, the Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis.
Oh, I know.
Scene.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's dope, man.
yeah. I was in the scene where they danced by the red steps.
Yep, I know exactly. Yep,
When
yeah.
they were meeting, yeah,
Iconic. Iconic.
I was in there. Got some
Iconic.
good quality shots. City of Lights, City of Dreams. Just started doing those type of projects. Elementary a lot of times. There was Jackie. There was many projects I was in, and then came the reality, right?
Right.
They use you a lot, and it shortens, right? Shit
Yeah.
shortens and shit, and I ain't gonna front. I got real depressed about that shit, bro,
Yep.
because my aspiration was for this acting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I was so hyped and happy about it that I didn't take the time to really understand the business. So, you know what I'm saying? I started being like depressed and drinking binges, and damn, I gotta go back to my day job. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
all that type of shit. And I ain't gonna front, man. It led to like suicidal attempts.
Wow.
Suicidal thoughts and suicidal attempts, man. For a while, I was real depressed and just not feeling myself, not having the bounce back ability like I have now. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, man. Like my very last one, like it was like around like 2010. You know what I'm saying? Like around like April 2010. Man, I really was going through it. I had to snap out of it, man. I ain't gonna, I'll never forget that attempt. Like I was over there by the 207 bridge. I tried to jump off that shit,
Wow.
and a Spanish dude, I don't know his creed of Spanish or Hispanic or Latin. You know what I'm saying? I think it's maybe Mexican, maybe Colombian, whatever. He grabs me, takes
Right.
me off. Like I had one leg in, one leg out. I was really with the shits, like trying to end my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was that depressed. You know what I'm saying? I was really trying to end my life. But I'll get to about that depression as well. Man, he pulled me off and he's like, "You stupid ass." I said, "Stupid? What are you, stupid ass?"
Right.
That was a sign from God and everything like that. And I ain't gonna front. I hit up my homegirl and we went to BBQs on 164th in Broadway. And this is around the time social media wasn't like how it is now. Like somebody to take a photo or snap it or video camera and get you and expose you. Yo, I was bawling out crying on the table.
Wow.
I just cried. I just cried. You know what I'm saying? I was just
Right.
letting her know, like, I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm sick and tired of appeasing people. I'm sick and tired of feeling like I'm not fulfilled. My purpose isn't fulfilled, and things of that magnitude. You know what I'm saying? And with that depression, it was shit that was built off of me. It wasn't even because of other people. It was built off of me, like me having this weird anxiety attacks and thinking that I'm letting people down, and nobody was even telling me that. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I was caring for this shit and loving this shit. You know what I'm saying? I wish I'd had bounce back ability then. I wouldn't have to go through that, but I had to go through it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then let's see. Then the year after that, I think you would think I'm okay. I pulled back from everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what somebody should do. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. If you feel you need help, go get help. You know what I'm saying? So I'm easing back. I pull back, from everybody. Then I go to my homies to Miami. to like fresh on myself and everything like that. You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
wilding out in Miami. I'm having fun and self-love and this, and you know what I mean, building on my self-love and everything, and just being happy. Here come the year after that, 2011, and yo, I get like wrongfully arrested. I'm trying to get to a music video shoot. I'm supposed to be in a music video. I get wrongfully arrested, man, by my own, black cop. That's neither here nor there, but
Right.
man, I ain't gonna front. Like that situation led to my day job now. You know what I'm saying? And long story short, cop was being a real dick, real jerk. In that wagon, there was an officer in there. Granted, I know to everybody when they hear this story, you know what I mean, you probably gonna be like, yo, why ain't that dude let you out? He couldn't really do that, because they going by the protocol or whatever. But he was giving me some sound advice. He was like, listen, man, real shit. I know you're a little upset or whatever, but he was Hispanic. The other detective or whatever was Hispanic that was telling me this. And he was like, yo, listen, man, you want all this shit to stop? You want all this, separate yourself from civilian to municipal worker? He said, yo, son, go take the test. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna front. I was taking mad at them tests. I was thinking about that shit too heavy. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's once again God's sign saying, you know what? Maybe change your career, step out, do something else or whatever. Yo, you know what I'm saying? So bust it. I took mad test. Then I ain't gonna front. My day job opened up. Department of Education, DOE. And I ain't gonna front. I always wanted to go to DOE because not only is a great way to get back to my community, but also too, the schedule would fit with what I would do as an entertainer. That's just real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bust it. That started happening. I started doing that. You know what I mean? And more, my happiness started coming back. The self-love started more because I started working with the youth. You know what I'm saying? I'm still working with the youth, the last 8 years. You know what I mean? It'll be 9 come this April. And also too in April will be my 15th year involvement.
Nice, man. Congrats on that.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that, man. But nonetheless, man, it was beautiful to be with education and with the kids and just working with them and just building my happiness back, man. You know what I'm saying? Having the schedules of seeing daylight, you know what I'm saying, after I work. And then I'm able to work on my entrepreneurial and my entertainment career.
So you spoke about being depressed and being suicidal. And I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this probably experienced that at some point. And
Right.
especially being a black man.
Right.
Was that a tough time for you? And we're going to talk about how, your success has, kind of attributed, well, I wouldn't say attributed, but has been such a rewarding journey because of it. But how do you think that was something that was hard to talk about? Do you think that it was something, especially being a black man, that was looked down upon and you had a hard time struggling with it? And what advice would you give somebody who's struggling with that, whether they're black or white, anything, but what
Oh man.
advice would you give them?
Ooh, that's that's a fantastic question, man. During that time with that depression, you gotta understand, see, it was something that was made up from that I didn't need to do because nobody was saying it. I think for me, it was like I was so goddamn passionate. You ever been that point that you're so goddamn passionate
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're willing to let anything fucking go? That's what it was. I was so goddamn passionate for this shit. Like when I'm telling you, my desire was to be better than fucking Denzel, right? While doing this, oh shit, I'm doing acting. I'm gonna be better than Denzel.
Right.
Then the train gets off the track, right?
Yeah.
You're like, you know what I mean? I was like, damn it, now I gotta go back to this fucking job I hate. Then I got fired by that job, right?
Right.
I'll keep it a buck. I always keep it a buck. I'm transparent. I don't give two shit. I'm always gonna be transparent. I got fired by that job. That added on to the depression. Like great, and It was tough. Listen, it was tough, man. It was tough the way I cured myself. That even was tough. To pull back from your friends and family, pull back from everybody. I need my own space. Leave me alone. Let me figure this out.
Right.
That was tough. And once again, I'm gonna suggest one more time, and I'm always gonna say it, whenever I talk about this. Like, do not do that what I did. If you feel you need help and you do not feel comfortable of curing yourself with self-help, I advise go get the help. Go get the help. You know what I mean? But other than that, also to add on to that, I think my successes did help, but also to what I was seeing as I continued in this industry. You know what I'm saying? And seeing on social media per se of like people that just coming in this game and you seeing their hurt. You know what I'm saying? And also too, when you was hearing about other figures and also close friends of mine, ending their lives in suicide. You know what I'm saying? Killing themselves. So it started really weighing in on me. I was like, you know what? I gotta start more and more talking about this story. And the more I talk about it, the better I felt. You know what I'm saying? Even talking to other people, they felt stuck in this, career and industry and era and everything that magnitude. I talk to them and I let them know about me. Because people are shocked. They get shocked when they hear these stories sometimes. Based on my appearance, based on my demeanor, based on how I work hard out here. You know what I'm saying, and all that. They're like, yo, I never think you would do suicide to yourself, suicidal attempts, or be that depressed, all that stuff. And I had to let people know, like, listen, man, this is why I go so hard in what I do in education, and for the youth, they, the youth was the ode. That's my ode to them. I owed myself to the youth.
Right.
If it wasn't for the youth, who knows what would be of Reemo Marac? Who knows what would be of Kareem Tyson? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who knows? So definitely to that great question you asked, that's my insight on it for real.
See, that's amazing. And the reason why I asked you is because, again, like I always like to ask the hard hitting questions, but I know, especially right now with the pandemic, there's a lot of
Right.
people who are struggling with depression and
Mm-hmm.
dealing with uncertainty about their future or the future of the country. And I think
Right.
that's very important because I think being a black man too,
Mm-hmm.
especially right now, talking about stuff like that. I've never been depressed, so I couldn't speak on it. But
Right.
for you having that experience, I think it's very empowering for people to hear from someone who people wouldn't assume would have depression. There's an image that comes with depression,
Right.
and you don't fit the bill, but again, you still suffered from it.
Oh
So
yeah, by far.
so I think it's very important for people who are listening or who people who experience with it to hear
Right.
someone share their side of the story and give them some words of encouragement because we all need a helping hand at some point, and I'm sure for you, even though you took a different path
Right.
along the way, you probably had some help overcoming that. So I appreciate you taking the time to talk about that. That's very
Yeah.
important.
I mean, I think what it is that you come to a point in your life where you got to make a decision. It's to stay afloat or do your best to be the best contribution on this earth, right? This is what God did, right? This is what the Lord, did to bring you on this earth, right?
Right.
And you, you got to make that decision. You're going to stay connected with God in the Lord and obey His will and obey what He wants and do what was just due when you got to this earth and you were born,
Right.
or stay afloat and do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And for me, who am I to say, oh, I don't want to tell my story. You guys figure it out. Like for what?
Exactly.
What's gonna happen with that? What's gonna happen with that? More stories, more stories where instead of I could have took advantage of the opportunity or what was presented to me, and to help another person. So when it comes to talking about this, it had to be done. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day.
Right, exactly. And I'll speak on some real briefly too. I'm actually another hard hitting question, but
Okay.
especially for me too. And I talked about it on your podcast cuts. Um, that I was adopted. A lot of people don't know that, mostly because I don't tell people that because it comes with like the sympathy, and I don't want that. I don't want people looking at me as someone who was, put in foster care and
Right.
and stuff like that. I want to be the person that people saw rise up and really put in the work to get to where he was going.
Right.
But it was something that helped shape me, and I'm glad you spoke about the person because now it's allowing me to speak up about it. Not so much that I'm afraid to. It's just I never really took the time out to express my opinions about it. Um,
Right.
but one of the other questions too I want to ask you
Okay.
in the entertainment industry, I
Mm,
I like to ask people, a lot of minorities, this question because I think it's very important.
right.
Have you felt, being a black man, being an actor, a media personality, all the hats that you wear, have you
Mhm.
ever felt that because your skin color, have you felt your skin color hold you back from getting better opportunities or getting to a different goal that you had?
Ooh, well, we went there. Yes and no. I fit I, like when unfortunately when they typecast you, I mean you could put that kind of in the sense of that. You know what I'm saying? To that could be an aspect of that, right? Oh, you only gonna fit this part, but then if you try to go for a role that doesn't fit the typecasting that they already try to set on you, then it's damned, or you get put as, oh, you're hard to work with, or you're difficult to work with, and all this other bullshit that comes with it. You yourself, you just gotta make sure you maintain your value. I mean, that's the thing with me. I make sure I maintain my value, and also I make sure nobody puts me in no goddamn box. At the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, there is things that happen in this industry like that, but overall, you just got to make sure you get with the people who has your best interest, regardless of how famous the show is. You know what I'm saying? Or the movie, or whomever the director is. Hell, if a famous director don't feel your wave, then you go to the one somebody else that will. At the end
Right.
of the day, this industry, we have to understand there's always going to be a will and a way with this industry.
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? It depends on you. It depends on what you put the effort in, what you allow, what you don't allow. And then on top of that, what do you value of your value?
The reason behind that question too is
Right.
I love the entertainment industry and I don't want to do anything else. But I know, especially right now with the current climate we in, there
Mm,
is a question about the lack of diversity or the way they portray diversity. One of the things I always talk about is how like in the movies and TV shows, all you a lot of times when you see black people is either thugs, criminals,
right.
gangbangers. When you see Latinos, it's drug cartels, gangbangers and stuff like that. And I think it's getting to a point in time where we have to start questioning about, all right, can we do more than just having black people, be on the corner selling dope or shooting people? And I think you summed it up brilliantly where you said don't allow yourself to be put in that box. That's why for me, for my brand, I don't allow myself to get put as the gangbanger because when people see me,
Yeah,
they
of
don't see
course.
me as someone wearing a red bandana trying to rob you,
Right.
and it's something that you kind of have to take on as yourself um as you pursue a career in this business.
In order for the tide to change, we have to stop complaining and go for these positions. Okay, fine. You can't be an actor. Okay, cool. Right, be a writer. You know what I'm saying? Look, we, did something. You know what I mean? Even me. Look what I did. Okay, fine. The first trip around acting, I didn't do well. Okay, let me find. Oh, let me go to media. Oh, from media. Oh, let me go to production. You know what I'm saying? I always had something with my value. So now when it comes to the table, and you want Remo Marak, or I'm sorry, excuse me, you want Kareem Remo Tyson, right?
Right.
Now, oh shit, you read the resume, or you read, oh shit, damn, you were a producer. Oh my god, you were an actor. Oh my god. The only thing that minus of me is writing. Never was a writer. But that's never to say I'm not going to, or I can, you know, and
Right.
I do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it takes. I think also too with us, right? We have to stop allowing ourselves to complain about things that we know we can make a change.
Exactly, man. I mean, you stealing the words out of my mouth. I've always been, especially on the heels of the Black Lives Matter protests and George Floyd. One of the things I talk about is we have to stop. Personally speaking, yes, I'm a dark skinned man. I'm black, but I've never allowed that to stop me from doing what I want to achieve.
Of
And
course.
I think during this time, we're getting, especially in the media, it's like there's this divide between black and white people. Oh,
Right.
black people can't do this, white people can do this, and white supremacy and white privilege, and black people don't have anything. And I think
Mhm.
that's the wrong way to go about things. And I'm seeing it
Right.
a lot, especially within our community, where everybody's saying that, oh well, everybody's holding me down because I'm black,
Mm.
which just might be true. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't think you should allow that to define who you are as a person. Go out there, get that job that you want. If you want to create, be an actor, go do it.
Mhm.
Don't always, when I get rejected for a
Right.
gig, whether it's Netflix or whatever,
Mhm.
I let it go. Why? Because I know there's an opportunity coming knocking on my door eventually.
Mhm.
You know, and I think sitting around saying, "Oh, they passed on me because I was black." All that does is just take away from
Block
yourself.
their blessings.
Exactly. Like just put the shoes on, go running. You know what I'm saying? Like Nike always say, go, just do it. That's
Just
what
do
we
it.
got to do is just do
Just
it.
do
Go out there and get what you deserve. You know what I'm saying?
it. Yup. Yup. It's straight up and down. And listen, man. Listen. How? What is enough? From our people to many others I've heard. Oh, enough's enough. Okay, what's enough? That like, and if you get crickets after you answer that question, then okay, then you got to figure it out. You got to figure something else out. And also, two questions I've asked myself last year that kept me focused. Right? What is your commitment and what is your conviction? Real talk. When you figure out those two and you figure it out, you get clearer. Your mind gets clearer. Your focus gets clearer.
That's
Yeah,
amazing, man.
you know what I
That's
mean?
fantastic. So, since you talk about that, just tell me a little briefly about how has the pandemic changed you, whether it's professionally or personally.
Mm.
How has that changed you?
Ooh, ooh, my man, my man, my man. Let me tell you, let me tell you, let me tell you. I am so grateful that that pandemic and reset happened.
You and me both.
I would have never had the time to think about coming back to acting. Let's say pandemic doesn't happen, dude. I was on the verge of going straight like this, skyrocketing in media. I was on the main. I was selected and approved to be one of the main media outlets for South by Southwest
Wow.
last year. I was already talking to people of the for the BT experience to be on the red carpets and media, main media, and all that. I was talking to mad people. Dude, it was trust me, 2020. Let's say pandemic doesn't happen. Oh yeah, oh yeah, for a fact. As I said, with the reset, it was fire because I would have never done A&R work. I would have never done, you know, more productions per se. I would have never got able to do shout out to Caesar Black Ink, with their clothing line of Beautiful Death. And shout out to my man Johnny View for setting me up to go film it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I would have never gotten to do that promo. You know what I'm saying? I would have never gotten, back into acting. I would have never gotten acclaim for things in media and stuff like that. There's a lot of things I would have never gotten done.
One of the things I always say is I'm grateful for not everything, but I am grateful for the pandemic
Yeah,
because
man.
it allows you to take a step back from life. A lot of people working 9 to 5, struggling, burnt out. You get to
Mm-hmm.
take a step back and really reevaluate your life. For me, I
Right.
was running to a point where all I did was work out, and wait for audition to come. And then with the pandemic, I was able to create my own platforms and create my own opportunities. For a lot of people, for this pandemic, the reason why I asked you about the pandemic is because a lot of people don't like the pandemic. A lot of people,
Mm,
just want it to be over. But I tell people, use this time wisely, especially if
that's what
you
it was.
home, learn a new skill. You got a
That's
lot
what
of
it
people doing
was.
YouTube now. I'm learning. I've always been an on camera talent, not behind the camera. Now I'm doing editing, and I'm on YouTube and doing all these different things.
Mhm.
This is stuff I would have never did if the
Right,
pandemic didn't show up. So
right.
use this time wisely. But I'm glad for your response, because it's always great to get different opinions and perspectives
Yeah,
about the pandemic.
yeah, man. You know what it is? Like I said, man, as you said, time. If you're a family person, a family man, family woman, you take your time to be with your family. You know what I'm saying? If you are in a relationship, take your time to understand why you're in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things. And even me, I'm in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And I'll keep it a buck, and I have a fiance. Out of this, I proposed. You know,
Congratulations, man.
yeah, thank you, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And with my and even though I'm in a long distance relationship and everything, but we doing everything we can to make it work. You know, if the pandemic doesn't happen, I don't think we would be in a relationship because
Right.
we got together after my 40th birthday when I was in Vegas. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? I was at the Wilder Fury fight. You
Oh
know,
man. Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
two great experiences in one night, man. I don't think I could top that.
Yo, bro, that weigh-in was crazy. I met Mike Tyson twice. When you take time and you really take heed of what you have with you and whom you have with you, you really start valuing things. And with my lady, shout outs to her. I'm not gonna say her name and stuff like that, but shout outs to my lady, shout outs to my fiance and everything like that. I appreciate her wholeheartedly. She's one of my biggest supporters. And that's another thing that was so tough. You know what I'm saying? As a creative, you got that one supporter that really supports your brand. And it doesn't think that it's a hobby. It doesn't question you. Oh, you going out here to have sex with girls and all this other stuff. And it's like, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Absolutely, man. Just straight facts right there. I think what you said basically, it kind of applies to what's going on in this world. It's basically up and downs, but finding the good in it. And we're living in a time now where it's not a lot of good. It's a lot of hatred, a lot of bad energy circling us,
Yeah.
and it's hard to keep going. But at least you have a support system.
Right.
Um, there for help. For me on this podcast, even though we talk about these hard hitting questions and issues, one of the things I like to do is find the good in all of this stuff. And you've been a great guest in the aspect that everything that you said has been able to bring some positivity to light, whether people
You have to.
listening, whether it's for me, whether it's for yourself. But there's some positivity that comes with it.
Yeah,
Um,
you have to. You
let,
have to, man.
let me ask you, to wrap this up,
Okay.
um, what the racial tension and stuff going on.
Hmm.
Um, how do you feel about the current state of America? Do you think 2021 could be a great year, or it could be a year of rebuild, or what do you think?
Ooh, we gonna go there. Nah, I feel this, man. Like real talk. Unfortunately, you can't abolish racism because unfortunately, it's a learned behavior versus something that can be controlled per se. You
Right,
know, just do your due diligence to really, protect you, protect your family, protect your health, protect your mental health, protect your financial worth, and protect your value, period. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can't expect everybody in the world to be in a fine tune, right?
right,
If that was to happen, then you would have never like understand or never be deterrent or steer away from weaknesses or illness, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be able to like maneuver well. you know. And also too, with the racial tension in this country, listen, I'm gonna keep it a real buck with you, and this is a message to my people. We must stop doing the worrying about them and just protect us straight up and down. I'm not saying beat up white person, beat up Asian, beat up other races and all that, and feel good about yourself. We need to protect and worry about us at the end of the day. All the other races do that. They worry about them, and let's worry about us more. You know, that's within our black community. You know, let's stop doing less of lack of adulation for one another and build up the adulation. Let's stop outsourcing outside of us and feeling that we can't do within. You know, there's many things that we can do. You know, and I'm glad that some of us are starting to do it, but we just need more people to start doing it more. And at the end
Right.
of the day, you know, things in this country will come to its light. And that incident that happened at Capitol Hill, I'm sorry, I'll be damned if I ever compare that to what we went through last year with marching and protesting, or even for that matter, for what for people, elders ahead of us did with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and even with the Black Panthers, and even before that, before them, you know what I'm saying, with the Rosa Parks and what she did and everything. I will never put a comparison of what that nonsense that happened at Capitol Hill to what we would do. You know what I'm saying? And for and for the majority of black people or black people alone, stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? That situation that happened in Capitol Hill is nowhere near damn near the same. I get it. Yo, well, if they were black, then okay, that's great. But that's some real ignorant, in a way, reverse satisfaction.
Right.
Okay, you're basically in a way saying, oh well, I didn't get my opportunity to do that on Capitol Hill. Like, are you nuts? Like,
Right.
are you nuts? Like, that's all I was seeing on my timeline.
Oh, you and me both.
You know, from my people, from people that I know, I'm just like, yo, are you serious? Like we can't tell that that shit was a fucking inside job.
Even last year during the protesting and the looting, you seen videos of cops just sitting there watching people go in buildings and steal and loot, walking out with massive carts of TVs and laptops, and you just seen them standing there doing nothing. I'm like, when have you ever in the history seen that happen? You can't go on McDonald's and walk around, try to leave with a small soda. There's gonna be five cops waiting for you. But now all of a sudden, cops are just sitting there watching you steal all this stuff and not doing nothing. It,
Man,
it, it, it doesn't make any sense. And the reason why I didn't get outraged too about what happened at Capitol Hill was when you get pulled over for a traffic stop, right? Cops will call for backup. Five officers will come. You have a broken tail light. They got five officers surrounding your car, right? But you
mhm.
telling me that the FBI, the CIA, military, local law enforcement, nobody was around to help? It doesn't make any sense. Like the fact that you can infiltrate a federal building and get away with it, but you can't go to McDonald's and steal a small soda without the almost the whole police force coming to get you. Yeah, man, I see through the charade.
Yeah, man. Like that shit was like the biggest fucking blatant like setup job in probably American history.
But you know what? The reason why they was able to do that is because people, again, and this is why I'm not submerged in politics as much, is because the hate for Trump is so big that they blind all of us, especially the minorities. I'll say this too. Black Lives Matter organization came out and talked about this, where they was pushing for Joe Biden coming office, right? And as soon as he got elected, right after the election, they got mad because he stopped answering their phone calls. This is all by design. They know how to manipulate us. Throughout the whole election was white supremacy, and you know, white people were trying to kill black people. White cops are killing black people, right? And then all of a sudden, now after the election, all stopped, and then right before Trump, goes try to get this whole election fraud thing going, this whole thing pops off. It doesn't it doesn't add up. There's a lot of nonsense going on, and
Yeah,
I see the charade, but a lot
man.
of people.
Yeah.
once you throw Trump in there, the being able to think and process information kind of goes out the window. So
Oh
yeah,
my
like you
God.
said, a lot of people looking at this like, oh, if it was black people, I'm like, it's not even that. Like they've been letting a lot of people skirt by for the last year, committing federal crimes, but there's a reason why they're not doing this, because eventually they're gonna get their due diligence while this is happening. And just to quickly say this, during the Capitol Hill thing, right? There was no local law enforcement, no FBI, right? But that same day or the day after, the FBI went in Brooklyn and arrested 17 black teens for gang violence. So again, like the things aren't correlating. Don't make sense that a federal building is being infiltrated, but they have enough time to go
In
arrest a
Brook-
bunch of black teenagers. So,
in
you
Brooklyn.
know, this whole podcast that I do, I always talk about stuff like this, and
Yeah,
the
that's
beauty
cool.
of it
That's
is,
cool.
even if you didn't disagree, you didn't agree with, or I didn't agree with you saying, we had that conversation.
Having a
That's what it's all
conversation
about.
is what
Exactly.
it is.
And you know
Conversation.
that was a great way to kind of cap it off, because I don't like to make these too long because I know the people go to sleep real quick. But um, so where can people find you? And just briefly talk about your podcast cuts, and
Oh,
where
and,
people
and
can.
the Remo Marac. Oh, we could definitely do that. All right. Definitely. First and foremost, you can follow me at Chef Remo on Instagram and Twitter. At Chef Remo, CHEF_REEMO. Also, to follow my acting page, Kareem at Kareem W Tyson. Be on the lookout for me in 2021 with film on featured on film projects and a sitcom that's on the way. Let's talk about Cuts podcast. Cuts, you know what the Cuts stand for: culture, urban technology, and sports. That's my one-to-one interview-based, inspiring podcast. You know what I'm saying? Definitely talk with today's figures that are under the acronym, about their story, and as well as what they have to give, either motivational quote or advice. Right now, the Remo Marac. Ooh, it's a real unapologetic podcast, hosted by Saucy the Body and Jerry Famous. I'm on there as well as a host, but I curate, like I throw the topics up and then we just dive in and just
Right.
get real unapologetic on it. You know what I'm saying? Both platforms, both podcasts on major streaming platforms: Google, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Radio Public, SoundCloud, YouTube as well. Yes, for Cuts Podcast, it is definitely on YouTube. I am going to start with season 2 of the Remo Marac, little bits and clips, and start putting them on the YouTube channel as well. Also, too, go to my website, remomarac.com, for all the latest up-to-date content, info, everything. And even too, you can scroll down and go to my WhatsApp button and hit me. If you want to talk to me, it goes right to my WhatsApp. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I'm just here for it, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm honored that you had me on your show, and I'm sorry, on your podcast, and definitely rock and roll, man.
It's a show and podcast, man. It's all about the charisma and personality.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Absolutely, man. I thank you for coming on. You spread a lot of information that I haven't even touched on the podcast before, so it was great to have you.
Yes.
And like I always say, and like I always end, a
Mm-hmm.
better hand is a helping hand.
That's all that
Have
matters.
these conversations, talk to each other, be positive, be productive, and go get what you deserve. And with
Right.
that, thank you guys for tuning into another episode. Thank you, Kareem, for coming on. And we're going to catch you in another episode.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
definitely, man. You already know, man. Peace and blessings. You already know what it is.